Well, welcome back to Meet Firebase. My name is Doug Stevenson, and I'm in the middle of an interview with Ryan Vernon. So what's your biggest gripe with mobile UIs today? So I imagine you're opinionated about this because you build them, right?
With mobile UIs, I love big hotspots. So I think mobile does a pretty good job of having big hotspots, actually.
Okay, what's a hotspot? Define that
like
for me.
a large button.
Okay.
So like, if you want to edit your draft in an email, that entire pane is hot for you to edit, in iOS, email app. Whereas like on a desktop, I don't know why, it seems more of my pet peeves are on desktop. Firebase is primarily a desktop. You don't have
the console, the Firebase console.
Firebase console.
Because the SDKs are primarily mobile.
Right.
But most of the time, developers are using the console on desktop, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, I don't know why some of the more advanced design and interactions that happen on mobile, why haven't they helped to evolve desktop design? So that's one thing I hope to, because when you're using a mouse, you have your entire arm. It's a coarse motor control, whereas a phone is your fingers, and it's a finer motor control. Mm-hmm. Every time I tap a button and it just doesn't work, it's more about complaints with interaction than the way things look.
Okay.
Here's a good one. If you have two photos and you put them in order from the newest and the old, there's one that's new and one that's old. Which order would you put them in?
Which order?
Yeah. How would you place them on the table here if you were to talk to me about your vacation?
Well, if I was going to tell a story, the story presumably is chronological, so you would go oldest to newest, if you're telling a story.
And you just moved your arm left to right.
Yeah.
So I the fact that Google Photos goes right to left, that kills me.
Really? Really?
But then when you make an album, it goes left to right. When you make an album, I always find myself where am I? So it's not so much how the UI looks; it's about how it works. Yeah, and other platforms, they keep direction consistent so that the user's mental map of time doesn't flip directions.
Oh, okay. That sounds like kind of a problem then if you're trying to consume in different concepts. Yeah. So it sounds like you have kind of an extreme attention to detail. It's kind of necessary to do this kind of work, right?
Yeah, it's overwhelming. You have to separate what the small things are from the big things. That's the challenge. You can't pay attention to all the details.
What's the big thing that needs to be solved first rather than a small thing, just for example?
Well, we usually divide things up into critical user journeys. It has to be intuitive, and it has to make sense. Smaller things might be how does it look, at least from the start. Form follows function. Okay. I mean, they're related, but in general, form follows function.
Okay. Now, I understand also you have some patents. Is that true? What are these patents for?
Mostly my mechanical engineering, industrial design patents. I worked at OXO. They're mostly known for kitchenware gadgets, and I have some old patents on a trash can, push pins, high chairs.
So you have one thing in particular that is a little more famous than high chairs and trash cans and stuff like that. It's an object that you might have seen on Silicon Valley called Always Blue. Tell me about that. It's
called the switch pitch. The game that they play in the show is Always Blue. So it's a ball, and you throw it up, and you catch it, and it changes color. It's like flipping a coin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Same company made the Hoberman sphere. Opens up really big, and a lot of people have those on their desk. So that was the first hit. I came in after that and was a big hit, and worked on the second spherical toy, which is the switch pitch. Chuck Hoberman made the original prototype. Another engineer, Matt Davis, and I helped to bring it to something that could be mass produced and looked really nice. A lot went into it.
Huh. So that's how you had a hand in creating that thing that now is probably on a lot of people's desks, and you see it on TV, and it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. So.
Well, Ryan, thanks for coming on the show and joining us from the New York office. And thank you for tuning in and watching today. Be sure to subscribe right here to the Firebase channel on YouTube to get more great video content and more guests on Meet Firebase. And I'll see you here next time.
What if we pretend that it's the Ryan show?
Again?
Let's just do paper, rock, scissors for it. 1, 2, 3, shoot. I am the host now. It's called Meet Ryan. And I'm Ryan.
That's freaky.